United States Senator Ted Cruz is our guest. Senator, what are you seeing out there?
Well, Michael, let me say at the outset, I sure hope you're not going to be correcting my Spanish grammar, because it's even worse than the Chiefs.
Says the guy who was, when he was running for the United States Senator, the lifelong Texan demanded a debate in Spanish. I think they didn't realize you actually spoke Spanish, but
well, your Spanish is better than mine, but I always appreciate it. These are tough times for our city. A lot of people are hurting, but it's good to keep our sense of humor even in times of crisis.
Have you been able to check on your own home?
I have. Thankfully, we have not been flooded. We have a number of friends who've been flooded. How is your house, Michael? Are you guys?
We got hit pretty hard. I didn't get to see it till just before we went on the air this evening, but we got hit pretty hard. I'll tell you, the furniture and the floors and all those things you don't care about. My kids are safe. My wife is safe. But there were some early pictures of my kids, and it was hard not to. Those can't be replaced. But you know what? Family's safe and sound. We count our blessings at a time like this. Senator, obviously the president's coming to Texas tomorrow. I think he'll be at Corpus, 11 a.m. I'm assuming you'll probably be there with him. But what can we expect in terms of federal funds and federal efforts after the resources and assets are deployed?
Well, I hope to join the president tomorrow. It's going to depend on the freeways and if they're passable. I'm in Houston right now. I had planned to join the governor today in Corpus, but we couldn't get out. The freeways in and out of town are underwater. And so I stayed in Houston and spent the morning at the George R. Brown Convention Center at the shelter there, just volunteering, trying to help people there. And I'm right now at the Harris County Emergency Center here, working with the local and state and federal officials and trying to help coordinate the response. In terms of what to expect going forward, obviously the very first priority is the preservation of life, and we still have a serious safety situation with rains continuing, flooding continuing. There have been over 3,000 people rescued in high water circumstances, and there continue to be people in harm's way. And so what I would encourage everyone listening, if you're in an area where you're at threat of flooding, try to get to a safe place, get high. Don't go into your attic. One of the most dangerous things you can do is go into your attic without an axe or something to get through the roof, because you can get trapped in your attic and the rescue workers don't know where to find you. If the water is rising in your house, you're safer getting out on the roof than you are in the attic where nobody can see you. And secondly, what I would urge folks is if at all possible, don't go out in a car unless it's an absolute emergency. The most dangerous thing you can do in a flood situation is go out in a car or truck, and water can be deceptive. You can think you can make it through there, and over again we see people drive into water and it gets carried away. And that's the quickest and most dangerous way to really threaten the safety and even the lives of you and your family.
Senator, President Trump has issued an emergency declaration very quickly.
Yes.
Governor Abbott was happy about that. We spoke to Vice President Pence this morning, and he offered words to the effect of, just know that the federal government and the rest of the country is with you. Are you happy with the federal portion of the response so far?
I've been very happy. That's been something that I've been spending a lot of time on the last several days. Yesterday morning, I spoke with Mayor Sylvester Turner and County Judge Ed Emmett, and both of them expressed concerns that we didn't have sufficient assets to rescue those trapped by high water, that we didn't have enough boats and helicopters and high water trucks. And the volume of calls to 911 was so immense that they didn't have the resources to help everyone in need. And so I spent much of the day yesterday on the phone, speaking with federal officials, speaking with state officials. Let me say, Governor Abbott, who I've spoken to several times, Governor Abbott has deployed over 500 DPS troopers to Houston, has called up and deployed over 3,000 National Guardsmen, and has sent helicopters and boats. And I've spoken with President Trump, with the Vice President, with numerous cabinet members, and every federal official to a person has committed to full and enthusiastic and energetic support. The president, when I spoke to him, said, Ted, whatever Texas needs, what Texas needs, you'll have it entirely. The president convened a cabinet meeting in which he directed all the cabinet members to lean in aggressively and fully, and I very much appreciate that. I know Texans across the state do.
Senator Ted Cruz, thanks for being our guest. Obviously, near and dear to your heart because you're a resident of Houston. Your wife and girls are here. It gives me great comfort that in addition to you being there, in addition to our governor being from Houston for many, many years and his passion for the city, and that our former governor is a member of this cabinet and obviously with a great deal of influence. It's got to help.
Well, Houston is my home. I love our city, and I got to say, every time we face a natural disaster in the state of Texas, we consistently see Texans coming together, and it's powerful and it's inspirational. You know, the Harris County Emergency Operations Center where I'm at, there's a whole wall that is covered in Post-its because the county judge put out a call. If you've got a boat and if you can help rescue people, we need your help. And they were inundated with hundreds upon hundreds of calls of Texans saying, yeah, I've got a boat, I can help. And here they were deploying them where they'd say, okay, you're in this neighborhood. All right, at this address, these people are in distress. And it's just, you know, ordinary men and women, Texans stepping forward saying, I'm going to help my neighbor. And that's what we should be doing. But it's powerful and incredible when you watch it. And I just want to say thank you to all the incredible first responders and all the Texans who are standing up for fellow Texans.
You know, I guess you may have already answered the question, but is there Senator Ted Cruz is our guest. Is there something that someone has come up to you? Maybe it was an evacuee. Maybe it was someone who's been rescued, somebody at the shelter, and it just made you put all of this into perspective, something special?
You know, it was person after person after person at the shelter who, you know, I asked them their stories, and they would describe water coming into their house, and they're fleeing, and they're losing everything. And yet, to a person, they were just grateful to be alive. They were grateful to have their kids. And it does put everything in perspective. It's obviously incredibly difficult and traumatic to lose your home or to lose everything you own. But you know, possessions can be replaced. Lives are irreplaceable. And that even people who were scared were so relieved to be safe and out of harm's way and grateful. And I will say there were two little kids, two little boys who I asked, they had flooding in their house, and I said, you know, was it scary? And they both laughed and said, no, it wasn't scary. I got to swim in my living room.
Right. Well, Senator, I know you'll be doing a lot of interviews over the coming days with a status update. I hope you will take the word far and wide that Texas we're a proud people. 15 states have sent assistance. We're grateful for it, but we will recover. We are resilient, and we'll get through this.
Well, you know, among the 15 states, we've got the Cajun Navy from Louisiana,
Absolutely.
And I was asking if they were cooking up crawdads while they were saving lives. That would make just about the perfect search and rescue.
Well, I think we can feed them while they're here. Senator Ted Cruz,
true enough.
Thank you.